Hey guys, I just went ahead and beat Inscryption, which is a game that came out last year in 2021, and at least in my followings, I didn't really see a lot of people talking about it. It's kind of flew under a lot of people's radar, probably because it's like a PC only type of game and it's an indie title. But I think it's extremely enjoyable, and I wanted to go ahead and give my review, kind of shed some light on it in case any of you guys out there, or maybe you're like me and you don't think it's your cup of tea. For me, especially, I was like, I don't like card games, so I'm not really too interested. But then when I had it pitched to me as a horror card game, that kind of got my attention a little bit because I love horror games, obviously. And after playing it, I have to say, even as somebody that doesn't like card games, it's super fun. I really, really enjoyed my time with it. So let's go ahead and get into the review. Unfortunately, I have to be very, very general with the review because this game is certainly best experienced if you know very little about it. So as a result, I have to be kind of vague about things. You'll know once you play the game what I'm talking about, but I'm gonna try my damnedest to not give really anything away other than what happens in the first 10 to 20 minutes of the game. So just the very, very beginning is what I'm gonna be talking about. So let's get into the pros and cons. The pros, the actual mechanics and the card fights and stuff like that are superb. They are super duper good in the game. And this is coming from somebody that's only really ever played Hearthstone a little bit, and I I was kind of indifferent about Hearthstone. I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't really dislike it, but I really enjoyed the card play in this game. It does a fantastic job as you're playing to kind of drip feed you new mechanics and new ways to adjust your deck and your cards and modify them and mix and match cards and their attributes. Every single time I found myself thinking, oh, okay, so I know everything. Like, every single way I can mix and match abilities and cards and stuff like that. The game said, no, you don't. Here's this new one. Here's this new one. And it did that all throughout the game. Like, even at the end, it was still giving me new things I could do with cards. And I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, it is super fun. And you start to think, as you're learning more of these mechanics, you start to think about it. And even when you're not playing the game, you're thinking about it and thinking about ways that you could make really OP cards and decks. And that is super fun because the actual enemy in the game, they're going to throw so much bullshit at you and you're going to lose a bunch at the start because you're still unlocking these mechanics and still trying to understand them. And you're not meant to win right off the bat. It's a roguelite in that aspect where each of your runs is going to be a bit different and but you're going to unlock more and more mechanics to help you through the game. And I really, really enjoyed that. And I also enjoyed the puzzles. Um, they're Some of them are a little complicated. I did have to look like one of them up, but for the vast majority, they're just pretty challenging. You can figure them out with enough fiddling, and I really liked them. In the first half hour of the game, it establishes that there's more to this game than just a card game. You can actually stand up, you can get out of the chair, you can walk around the room, and there's a bunch of puzzles, almost like an escape room type of thing, where there's a bunch of puzzles and you have to just play through the game and think and find out, you know, what it is that the game really wants you to do, because clearly there's more to it than just a card game, and it's all up to the player to figure that out. And I really enjoyed that. I will say that the start of the game is definitely my favorite. I really, really liked it. I think it does a wonderful job of being kind of mysterious and creepy and really fun, and just finding out all those new mechanics and making OP cards and decks and trying to win was thoroughly enjoyable for me, to the point where I actually wanted to play it even when I was off stream. I was like, man, I wonder if this would work. I wonder if I did this crazy shit with my deck, if it would work. I also think the art style is fantastic for the most part. It changes throughout the game a lot, and but for the most part, I really enjoyed the aesthetic of the game. The beginning aesthetic I love, the middle aesthetic I hate, and the final aesthetics, all of them I really really enjoyed. But that middle one, it was rough for me. I really didn't like it, and I didn't enjoy playing it. I've seen kind of mixed things about it. Some people love it, some people hate it, so it's just going to be up to you. But the middle of the game really slowed down for me. But beginning and end, absolutely loved it. I also think it's a really strong story that they're telling. They do it in a unique way. It definitely, if you know other games by the same developer, then I'm sure you can guess what type of storytelling they use, because Pony Island and stuff like that are pretty similar games to this. If you don't, then I'll just let you be surprised. But I like the way that they tell the story. I like the story that they are trying to tell. And there's a lot of secrets in it where even after you beat the game, you're like, oh, if I go back and I collect more of these secret things and I give it to this person, then I can get even more, information and lore and really understand the story that much more, which I like. Also, once you finally complete the game, they do have like a challenge run mode where you can play through and it's randomized. And that's basically just entirely a roguelike mode where you're trying for high scores and stuff like that. And I really enjoy that. I do wish that they would let you play, like go in and play randomized versions of the other acts, but they don't. It's just Act 1 that they let you play through, but that's fine because Act 1 was my favorite anyway, so I wasn't really bothered by that. And I'll probably do it, honestly, because I really enjoyed the card play in the game. Also, the music, bunch of bangers. Just tons and tons of bangers. Really, the only con that I could think of is that that second act, and that's entirely subjective. Like, I didn't enjoy it at all, but a lot of people really did. It definitely goes into a more, it's so hard to talk about while being general. It goes into a more linear direction that I wasn't really expecting, and I didn't really want. I wanted more of that first act because I loved it so much, but once I got used to the second act, it wasn't that bad, and then the third act is just a banger. It's just really really good. So I think, honestly, nearly no negatives in the game. I enjoyed everything about it. I think, I want to say this game is, how much is it? Like 15 bucks? You know what? I can pull it up right now. Professional. Doing this right here, live. I got it on the Epic Game Store sale, so I got it for like half off plus the $10 off. It's $19.99. It's $19.99, and honestly, I think it's worth it. It took me about 14 hours to beat in total, and that's probably because I suck ass at card games. But so if you're some Hearthstone god or something, maybe you'll fly through. But I really really enjoyed my time with it. I highly recommend it. If I had to give it a rating, I'd say it's a solid 9 out of 10. I think it's an amazing experience. I 100% would recommend almost everybody to play it, even if you don't like card games. I think it's super fun, and most importantly, it's unique. A lot of the time we're getting games, it's like, oh, here's open world, shitty, done a million times game number 45, and it's like, dude, that's the 18th one just in the past few months. How many open world third person games are you gonna release? Well, I can't really tell you anything that's like this game. Honestly, it's completely unique, and I think that's the best thing about it. It's a breath of fresh air, and I solidly recommend it to anybody out there that's interested. But yeah, that'll do it for me. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Bye bye.